Right, switch them off. Right. I was actually at that one.
Would you want to do a story? Before Occupy, we had activist media, so we told our own stories to ourselves. After Occupy, we had social media. So we told our stories through the corporate social networks. And this let loose the madness of every individual being an individual and everyone having an individual voice. Where before, people, to get a voice, you had to do something. Now you didn't have to do anything to have a voice. Occupy was a break with the past. And it's an interesting break, and now we're just recovering from this break with the past. So I've got a really big downer on Occupy. So this is, I think this is the March for an Alternative. I think this is Occupy. So Occupy is very imperialistic. It takes over a lot of space, and in activist circles it takes over everything. I'm being quite polemical on Occupy. So I think we're just getting back to a state where we're trying to reconnect to the past. This exhibition is about is bridging that gap that Occupy represented, the social media gap. Yeah, but you notice there's nothing up here? It's empty? There's this. This is it. So it's an empty space, our own media. We did invite all these guys, and I hope they come along, but currently our own media doesn't link to each other. It doesn't cooperate in any way. It's individualistic. It grew out of the social networks of the dot-coms. So you know, it's lots of individual voices. They're good. They make great content, but nobody links to anyone else. Nobody cooperates with anything else. Everyone is an individual, or you know, the separation between different groups. Before, if you look back, everyone's in the same ship. Everyone's doing the same thing. Road protests, climate change. It's a social movement. Individualistic movement.
It's a logical consequence of neoliberalism.
Yes, they're the children of Thatcher and Reagan. What can you say? Can we get beyond the children of Thatcher and Reagan before climate change hits and it all goes totally fucked? I don't know. It's an interesting challenge. I bought a lifeboat and I'm sailing away. But I do come back occasionally and try.
How did this come about? Well, we've all been gathering stuff for years, you know, Vision on TV, undercovers, covers, bags. Most of this archive's been evicted over 20 years from one squat to another. That's been, you know, helping a lot of environmental protest movement stuff. We're very glad to see it being saved and archived. We've now got the scanning thing going. It's helped Vision on TV and Undercurrents to bring their stuff out as well, to get it out and to put it onto the World Wide Web.
Okay, but what spiked off this particular exhibition? Yeah, why this?
We've always been thinking about it, but what spiked it off was seeing disobedient objects at the Victoria and Albert Museum, largest exhibition in the V&A.
Not surprising. But it was a very top-down exhibition.
It was a few 100,000 in 3 months. I can't remember the exact figure now, but very popular. Lots of people. When we walked around, we saw that there were, you know, some gaps in it. That although it was based in London, there wasn't a lot from the British road protest movement. Even Occupy, which happened at St Paul's, there was only one yellow poster from Occupy Sandy, which is America. And so my friend Fluffy got us in contact with Catherine Flood when it showed her about 5 different lever archivers of all these leaflets and magazines and newspapers. Catherine Flood invited us to Curating Conflict. So we went there, and there was a big amphitheatre with about 200 academics there, and me and Hamish got up at the...
and said, we'll do it!
We'll do it!
We'll do it! We'll do a grassroots version!
Grassroots version.
We fucking well did!
By the people who were there at the time, and get the activism out there. And so basically, you know, Hamish said, you said we've got, you know, 25 years of video footage. I said I've got 25 years of paperwork, leaflets and newspapers, both newspaper cuttings in the mainstream, but the grassroots leaflets and what was really going on for the activists on the ground,
isn't in the history,
which isn't in the history in the mainstream media. And then Adrian Arbib very nicely offered to coordinate the photographers. So we've got, you know, photographers there at the time.
It's come about. It's all here. It's all up on the walls.
The danger is that all of this stuff, especially from the 90s, was going to get lost. I mean, in the world of video, for instance, it's on an almost inaccessible format. It's analog tape. and that makes it really, really difficult. So what we've got to find with all these kind of aging video makers is a way in which we can somehow get it together to make sure this stuff isn't just lost.
Okay, so we need another digitising station for the tapes, so people can bring in their tapes and digitise them here and then upload them to archive.org.
There were a couple of calls last year on Facebook from activists I know from the 90s who were saying, can anybody store all these banners and stuff, because I haven't got room for them anymore, you know? I've got a family, I haven't got room. So our answer is yeah, keep those physical objects, but when it comes to photos and text and videos, make sure you get them online. I need to do it for my own stuff.
And maybe we can partner with some assisting organisation after the exhibition takes off to take the physical objects as well.
Yeah.
As we rewrite history, these physical objects become relevant.
Exactly. Well, for instance, we've already got the Museum of London, and we'll take anything London-based as a physical object. They've already promised to do that. It goes in their archives and they get it out for exhibitions, which is fantastic. There are institutions which will safely house this material. And so this is about history, making sure that history survives, but it's also about rewriting history, because most of the history is obviously written by the powerful, or on behalf of the powerful. And this is grassroots history, about how people...
It's the people who are there, the people who know. Exactly. The people who weren't there are ignorant.
Exactly. So we have... So that's so important, that we have this kind of democratic history, which otherwise is lost, and it's very inspiring to people as well. So what's another purpose of the project, obviously, is we've got a circle of chairs over here, which is just the beginning of an idea.
Create conversations.
Exactly, create conversations about. And during the week, we're going to have workshops here where people can talk about how do you organise a General Assembly, how do you organise a direct action, an affinity group for that, you know, which is safe and trusted and not spied on by the police, and all those kinds of important questions. So this is about the future as much as it's about us.
Come on, we're old boys pensioners, we need funding.
But basically the plan is to hopefully get some funding and get a crew of people who want to help with it more. And
take it
we
out.
had a really good crew today setting up. There's like 15 people really on the case. But basically take it to London, Brighton, Bristol, Cardiff, Leeds, Manchester, Nottingham, Glasgow. Take it around the country, put on the exhibition, put on a workshop each day or a couple of workshops. Hopefully link out to some local campaigns and groups. Hopefully leave like 20% spare space, a third spare space that local campaigns, local community centres, local activist groups can come in, put their stuff up and discuss what's going on with the world and the environment, learn from the past and take action for the future.
So I'm going to go and harass some people because nobody's publicised the self-scanning, because it wasn't going to happen unless I pushed it, so it did happen. So now I've got to find someone to tell a story. Let me have a look. She's already done it. These guys are local. Phoenix always tells stories. I think we might have to wait for a little longer for someone to tell the story, because we've got to wait for fresh blood. We want people who haven't told their story yet, because that's what really matters. We've had these for more than 2 years, and we've used them to record conferences, but the original plan was to hang them on the walls of DIY exhibitions, and people get inspired and they come up and say, I was there, this is Fred in the picture, and we stormed the barricades and it was great. Stop. My name's Jim Bubba, and we get the history of the people who were in the pictures. It's the plan. All of it then gets uploaded unedited into the Commons, in this case archive.org, and it's up to people to edit it for meaning and add tags and cut it up. Somebody will do it because it's fantastic material. Somebody will take the time to do it. So these people are getting older, they're disappearing, so capture their stories before they move on, and capture their physical objects they've got in their cupboards before their children throw them out as worthless. That's the mission of this exhibition.
I got involved in the Resistance Project when I came to visit this first...
When we did the first exhibition. Yes, I met you then. You were excited, yes.
And I came in and I was just completely blown away at the incredible archive of of movements and protests that I've been involved with and others that I haven't been involved with, and many that I've like heard about but don't really know about or wasn't there and haven't seen. And it was really inspiring to sort of see the photos and the videos from that time, because these movements really are like the forerunners to the things that I am now involved in now. And I think it's really important to understand the history of what you're involved in, like the protest movements that you're involved with, because to kind of like ignore the history or to be blind to the history means that you're reinventing the wheel and you're not really understanding the foundation upon which your movement is based. So exhibitions like this are really, really important. People coming along, getting involved and bringing, seeing the gaps and going, great, here's an opportunity. How can I contribute and fill those gaps? Because this is an exhibition, it's not our exhibition, this is everybody's exhibition, and it is for everybody, by everybody, for everybody. So that's what we really want to foster, that feeling and that sense of communal ownership.
So what is next?
So we need to get funding, we need to try and secure that. We're all doing this off our own back, but if we can, that will be amazing, to take this kind of collective history and so that it can organically evolve as we travel and just keep on it organically evolving.